What is going on, everybody? Good afternoon, and welcome to another episode of Frankie The Yankee Show. I am here with my boy Stat Guy Dustin. Dustin, how you doing?
Getting a little bored right now. I'm waiting for all these trades to happen here at deadline day, but we don't got much action yet today.
Yeah. I'm sitting here waiting as well. I've been waiting for days now. Hopefully, something can prevail. Every target that I wanted the Yankees to go after has potentially been taken off the market. So now I'm just sitting here seeing a bunch of scrubs that we can get and then give up in return. Um, the Yankees right now, before we start, the Yankees right now are, I believe, one and three, 1-3 since Friday facing Baltimore. Baltimore took 2 out of 3 on us there, and then we lost last night to the Tampa Bay Rays, just in ugly fashion. And Aaron Judge, he's back. He's getting on base, but it's via walks. The man got on base, I think, 4 times on Friday night against Baltimore, and got on base by walk, I think, 3 times. Going 0 for 1. Yeah, 0 for 1. Walked 3 times on Friday night. Final score 1-0 off of a Santander home run. And then Saturday the Yankees won. Final score of 8-3. Aaron Judge actually got a 2-run home run on that one as well. So that made Aaron Judge look like he was back in the form. And then for some odd reason, Aaron Boone did the most dumb decision he could have ever done, and sitting Aaron Judge on Sunday after Aaron Judge literally just had a 40-plus day off from being on the injured list. Mind blowing to me why Aaron Boone would go ahead and sit Aaron Judge on a Sunday, especially at the time where the Yankees need him the most. I'm talking about division games, division series that you need Aaron Judge in there. I mean, this is not an easy week for the Yankees. You got to play Baltimore. Now you're playing Tampa, and then who's up next? The Houston Astros. So I mean, this is a really tough schedule right now for the Yankees, and Aaron Boone decides to sit Aaron Judge is mind blowing to me. And then we lost on Sunday, really nasty fashion on Sunday. I don't know what happened, but Luis Severino was just absolutely dog water garbage. I'm ready for him to get out of the Yankee pinstripe, and I believe it's time for him to go elsewhere. He's just not the same. And even he said it after the game during the press conference. He says that I feel like I'm the worst pitcher in the world right now, and you really are. You really are, man. You gave up 6 earned runs in the first inning, then 2 more earned runs in the second, and then you gave up a solo. I think it was a solo home run. No, that wasn't on him. Yeah, you gave up seven hits and 7 earned runs in the first inning, and then you give up one more in the second inning. It was absolutely dog water. He left us 8 earned runs total, pissed me off. And then yesterday, Tampa Bay Rays. What can I say? Man, this team isn't hitting, and it's absolutely mind blowing, and it's sad right now to be a Yankee fan. But I'm a fan, and I stick to my boys, and I'm gonna sit and I'm gonna watch, and I'm gonna be depressed with them. I'm gonna be depressed with them because when the time comes, Dustin, when the time comes and we hold that World Series trophy, it's gonna be well worth it. But tell me, sir, trade deadline today, who we got on the market?
I think there's a lot of people on the market. And before we get to that, I was going to kind of answer kind of your thoughts on what Aaron Boone was doing, sitting Aaron Judge basically right after he came back. And I think the Yankees are kind of at the point where they're selling without selling, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to show the fans that they're giving up by trading away the pieces. But when you look at how good Baltimore's been, and when you look at how good Tampa Bay's been, and how good Toronto's been recently, I think the Yankees are kind of realizing that they're not in a position where they're going to catch either one of those teams. So now they're just kind of just hold pat, and if they have to sit players, it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of the market today, the big name that I want to watch is Justin Verlander. We've already seen Max Scherzer get dealt to Texas, who then turned right around and got Jordan Montgomery to kind of shore up that rotation. And now, had Jacob deGrom not gotten hurt earlier in the season, you would have had a rotation with Scherzer, deGrom, Andrew Heaney, Jordan Montgomery, and like whoever else they have over there. That would be one of the best rotations in the American League. But Justin
So
Verlander has started to talk with the Houston Astros again. He's started to talk with a couple of other teams that he's willing to waive his no trade clause for. So that's definitely one name that I want to watch because he's one of those players that still has a year left on his deal after this year. But even at 41 years old, you have to consider what does Justin Verlander have left in the tank before his arm pretty much falls off.
right, right, and two teams that I do know as of right now, it is Houston. And he said it that I love Houston. I was in that city already. I've been there. I have good connections with the owner. I have good connections with Dusty Baker. Hell, I just won a World Series, and literally the last 8 games, Justin Verlander has come back to form. Literally with an ERA of I think it was like 1.6 something. He has an ERA of 1.6 something in the last 8 games. So he definitely have turned himself around as a pitcher before, during the start of the season where he was absolutely like he didn't look like the Justin Verlander of last year. He looked like Father Time has caught up to him. But now he looks absolutely amazing. So Houston Astros is the one that comes to mind. The other one is the LA Dodgers. I've been seeing news that the LA Dodgers are literally looking to go all out and getting Justin Verlander because they do need a starting rotation. I mean, I don't even know if Clayton Kershaw is still out on the injured list. You can correct me if I'm wrong or not, but I think he still is. I don't know if he isn't. But I know Clayton Kershaw is on the injured list. They do need starting rotation and Justin Verlander will fit really well there. I mean, I think he'll look good playing at Dodger Stadium. That's especially being under the heat and an outside stadium. He likes playing in the heat, and I think he does like playing in an outside stadium. Like he playing in the New York Mets. That's not a dome. Um, and then the third team came surprisingly and secretly. It came a little bit a while ago, around 11 a.m. The San Diego Padres, Dustin. The Padres has emerged as a secret team to go out and contact for Verlander. What are your thoughts on the Padres trying to get him?
I can see why they want to get him, but at the same time, you keep hearing that Blake Snell's name is on the trade block. So what's the point of going to get a guy like Justin Verlander if you're already considering trading Blake Snell? Is he kind
Right.
of your option to replace Snell when they both have 1 year left on their deals? Snell's about 8 years younger, 9 years younger than Verlander. So I don't see that being kind of a realistic scenario for San Diego unless they plan to keep Snell. But we've heard
Right.
Snell's name on the block now for the last month. And he's the other name that I was going to say that I'm going to watch today in terms of the starting pitchers was Blake Snell because you keep hearing the Chicago Cubs are looking for rotation help and they keep being linked to Blake Snell. And that's a name that I think the Cubs would gladly take at this point.
Yeah, yeah. And I agree. I mean, but then again, if the Padres can somehow, some way go and grab Justin Verlander before anybody try and come and snag and Blake Snell, I think they will take Snell off the trade market because then you'll look at it and you'll say, hell, we got Snell and we have Verlander. That's a perfect 1-2 combination right there that we
Mm-hmm.
can definitely use and need. So let's go ahead and take Snell right off the market now before anybody try and contact us.
Yeah,
And that'll be a really smart move on the Padres' part.
yeah, I agree. I just don't like same situation with the Mets. The Padres and the Mets have basically tried to build a championship by spending money. Granted, the Padres had some success with it last year because they made the NLCS before losing to the Phillies, but the Mets haven't had any success with it since that 2015 World Series run that they've had. And now you're starting to see all the irresponsible spending decisions that the Padres and the Mets have made the last couple of years start to backfire in their face. So the best way to kind of counteract that would be to trade some of your high contract players away to get younger players in return that you can build upon, not bring in more high paid players that you're going to be putting on a payroll that's already exceeding $300-400 million.
I feel like it was a smack to the Mets, a smack in the Mets' face. It all started when Edwin Diaz got hurt in the World Baseball Classic. Once Edwin Diaz got hurt and they knew that he was going to be out for the year, I feel like all of like the energy the good energy of the Mets just suck out of them. Like it
Yep.
just left their body because you have Pete Alonso who's been on the injury list twice this year, hasn't looked good. His hitting numbers is great. His home runs is great. His RBIs is great. His batting average is what's not great. And I feel like Pete Alonso wants to get his batting average better. So like that's something to keep an eye on. Is yes, he has good numbers, but his batting average is not. So something's got to happen with Pete Alonso. I feel like the only person that's actually doing well over there in New York is obviously what's his name, the shortstop, Francisco. Forgot his name. The shortstop,
Lindor.
Lindor. Yeah, Lindor. And then Tommy Pham. I think Tommy Pham is doing great over there as well. He has a decent batting average. He has good numbers. He's a good defender as well. I feel like those two are doing good, but you can tell from when the Mets went and traded Scherzer for basically nothing. Shall I say, Stat Guy? They traded him for basically nothing, and they still have to pay most of his contract. Like it's mind blowing. It's a smack to the Mets right now. At this point, even the Mets know it. They're like, hell, we're so far back in the wild card. We're so far back in the division. The hell with it. Let's restart and
Mm-hmm.
let's get young people. But how are you going to get one young person for Max Scherzer and still have to end up paying his contract? That's a huge smack in the face. And I feel like other teams, when they seen that, now other teams are trying to do the same thing with Justin Verlander. Well, this man is 2 years older than Max Scherzer. Yes, he has a better arm. He has a better ERA. Yeah, he's a defending World Series champion. But I can give you one person for this person, but I need you to pay the rest of his contract, or we don't have that much payroll. I feel like a team is going to look at what happened with Scherzer and try and get that out of Verlander.
Yeah, I agree. And anybody that gets Verlander at this point of the year, as long as they are in a position to make the playoffs, is going to hit a home run. Because Verlander's resume speaks for itself. His postseason resume speaks for itself. And what you were saying a couple minutes ago, how the first 5-6 starts of the season, Verlander was kind of looking like Father Time caught up to him. Well, now all of a sudden, the last 5-6 starts he's made, he's looking like the Cy Young winner that he was last year. And if that's the Verlander that you can get for the next 9 or 10 starts, you're going to probably guarantee yourself at least 8 wins. And 8 wins could be the difference from making the playoffs and missing the playoffs for whoever gets this guy.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, Billy Buzz, the front office definitely needs to shake up. I mean, you're talking about a front office who literally went out, and correct me on the numbers if I'm wrong, Stat Guy, over 300 and possibly $360 million, maybe less, maybe more. I know they're up in the high range of $300 million. I want to guess and say $360 million on retaining players and bringing in old players. I mean, you had to re-sign Max Scherzer basically to an extra year. They did that. Then you bring in Justin Verlander. Then you re-sign all these other pieces. Brandon Nimmo and Tommy Pham. All these players. You're giving them so much money to just be so bad. I mean, yes, I'm a Yankee fan, and I hate what the hell is going on right now. And it's really sad to look at. But we're not what the New York Mets are. If the Yankees had what the Mets got right now, I guarantee you and I promise you the Yankees will be better than what they are.
Oh,
the only thing that's wrong with the Yankees is their hitting. That's the only thing wrong with the Yankees. If they could change their hitting, it'll be great. They can't do it now. There's no point in doing it now because I will be pissed. I would be pissed for them to start doing it now. But that would, if we had those players that the Mets got, I guarantee the Yankees would be better. It's just the Mets front office. They don't know how to. I don't know what it is. I don't know if they just got players that were just like, oh well, the hell with it. I'm here in New York. I'm making money. I don't care if I win or lose. Compared to having players that be like, listen, this is a team that we need a World Series. We're in the city of New York. People look at us as the second team here. Obviously, you are, duh. But they want to actually get that World Series to actually get out of the Yankee shadows. And after the 2015 World Series sweep that you guys got handed by the Kansas City Royals, by God, the Kansas City Royals, you got swept by the Royals.
Well, I mean, in the Mets' defense on that one, are you talking the World Series year for the Mets?
Yes.
Kansas City Royals had a nightmare bullpen that year where if they had to lead after the fifth inning, the game was pretty much over. And I forgot the stat that I looked at. But if you count their regular season record and the playoff record, when the Mets had the lead entering the sixth inning, they were 86-7 that year. So you knew that if you didn't get to the Mets before, or if you didn't get to the Royals before that fifth inning, the game was pretty much over with Greg Holland, Wade Davis, Kelvin Herrera, and somebody else as the back four of that bullpen.
All I'm saying is, if the Yankees were going up against the Royals in 2015 in the World Series, we would have never got swept. The Yankees would never get swept in the World Series. Yeah, they got swept last year in the championship round of the ALCS. They can get swept in the division round. They can get swept in the wild card. That's fine. But when it comes to World Series and winning titles, I don't think I've ever seen in my lifetime. I know they have been in the past, but in my lifetime, I don't think I've ever seen the Yankees get swept in the World Series. Yeah. Just saying.
Yeah, and what you were saying about the Mets too, they have $364 million on their payroll this year. That number goes down to $254 million next year for the contracts that are guaranteed next year. But then after 2024, the number goes down to $128 million in 2025 and then $100 million in 2026. So it's really this year and next year that the Mets, I think, are kind of in a position where they need to shed some of these contracts, because you look at the Scherzer deal expires after next year, the Verlander deal expires after next year, and those are two players right there that are worth $100 million between them. After those contracts kind of go away, once 2025 hits, the Mets are going to be in a better position financial-wise, but given the state of that team right now and what they have on the books for contracts this year and next year, that team has no choice but to unload some of these players, even if it is a guy like Verlander or Francisco Lindor, who still has, I think, 7 years left on his deal. They have to figure out a way to get rid of some of these higher paid contracts to put themselves in a better position if they want to get back to making the playoffs.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I wouldn't be surprised if at some point Pete Alonso starts getting tired of this and wants out of New York. I mean, if you want to stay in New York, go right ahead, brother. There's another team on the other side of the river that wear pinstripes. We'll take you, no problem.
We'll take you and put you at DH if you really want.
That's a straight fact. I mean, we don't need you at first base. We got Anthony Rizzo. We don't need him to hit. We need you to hit. But, excuse me, I'm drinking my coffee here. But I would like to know any other names in your mind that you're going to be looking at. We said Justin Verlander is someone that we're going to be looking at today. We said Blake Snell is someone we were going to be looking at today. Hopefully, at some point, we thought that Shohei Ohtani was going to be a name to look at today. Also, we thought Juan Soto was going to be a name. We thought, Cody Bellinger was going to be a name. All of these names have been taken off. What other names that are out there? I know there's a name that came to mind earlier today, late last night, and it's Tommy Pham from the New York Mets. I like Tommy Pham. He's on the market. I hope that some way, somehow, Brian Cashman doesn't be stupid and try and get him. The Yankees have putting out 4 names that they want to do, and they're 4 names that are walk-off this year that are in their final contract. Very trash pitcher and Luis Severino, he's on the market. Wandy Peralta, a relief pitcher, he's on the market. Really good lefty pitcher. Isaiah Falefa on the market, who has actually turned his season around this year. And also on the market is Harrison Bader. That was a real, that was a question mark for me with Harrison Bader. But I want to get your guys' thought. Who else besides Verlander and besides Blake Snell? Who else you guys think will be on the trade market and getting traded today before the 6 p.m. deadline?
I think Josh Hader is a name to watch, because Josh Hader is in the final year of his contract this year. You heard his name kind of dangled out there the last couple weeks, and now the Padres have kind of said they're not going to trade him. But if the price is right, damn well the Padres are going to trade Josh Hader. Because if you can get a package what the Brewers got for Josh Hader at the trade deadline, you're not going to hold on to him for another 2 months, especially when you're so far in the playoff race as it is. I think David Bednar from Pittsburgh might be the most coveted reliever at this point, just because you look at the numbers that David Bednar's put up this year in the back of the Pirates bullpen. He's got 2 years of team control left beyond this season, where it's going to cost whoever gets him is going to get him for $11 million the next 3 years. And at 28 years old, the back of the bullpen guy that can be a closer or a setup man for $11 million the next 3 years, that's going to be a steal for whoever gets him. In terms of hitters, we really saw, I think, a lot of the big name hitters go yesterday that were kind of the front runners to be traded. Like CJ Cron went to the Angels. He was one of those guys that a lot of people expected to be dealt. We saw Jamer Candelario get traded to the Cubs yesterday. He was
by the way, that was a good pickup for you guys. I just want to say.
And I honestly thought that he was going to end up in Milwaukee, because all of a sudden Milwaukee said they had such a good package to pick up Candelario and things like that. And then after the Brewers got Mark Canha, I'm like, oh crap, that means they're going to probably get Candelario too. And then when the Cubs got Candelario, I was excited because he was probably the best bat that was available at the time. But I think it's going to be more pitchers and relievers that go today. I don't really see too many big name position players getting dealt today. You might see like those role players get traded just because every team can use more bench players, especially teams in the playoff hunt. But in terms of big names, I think it'll be more of the pitchers today than anything.
Right. Jay, before I let you go, I just want to throw something out. John Heyman just went on Twitter saying, I can't say Twitter no more. It's no longer Twitter. It's called X. He went on X and said Andrew Chafin could be dealt today as well. Another name to look at, Andrew Chaffin. 3 teams potentially fit for him: Milwaukee Brewers, maybe the Minnesota Twins, and possibly the Chicago Cubs. For those of you who are watching, that's another name that just been thrown out there to keep an eye on. But Jay, welcome to Frankie the Yankee show. I love your face. It's good to see you. I'm really upset that you're coming in here with that stupid hat on. We'll see you this weekend, sir, for our gentleman's sweep that we're gonna give you guys because we're so freaking ass. But Jay, what names are out there that you think that we should potentially look at to get traded? We said Justin Verlander. We said Blake Snell. You heard what Dustin just had to say on his potential names. But I want to get your thoughts on who you think might get traded today or should get traded.
Yeah, right. I just want to touch real quick. I don't think Hader's going a damn place because the Padres just swept the Rangers. Swept them. So I don't think the Padres are necessarily going to move their best closing pitcher at this point. I just don't think that's going to happen. But secondly, going to what you think, look, there's a lot of outfielders still left. One that I'm keeping my eye on that I really kind of hope the Astros will go after. I don't know if they're going to have the trade assets to do it because we just don't have enough of our farm system truthfully left. If they give up Gilbert, he's still a top 75 prospect that we got about 2 years ago. Jim Cross is a real familiar guy out of Tennessee. But I think if I'm them, I'm going after Lane Thomas. He's a 27-year-old guy. He's 286 average. He can play all 3 positions. What I love about him, he can play left. He predominantly plays right, but he can play left and he can play center. And we desperately need a left fielder to give Jordan Alvarez back to the DH spot where I really want him to more or less concentrate. And this guy's got a 1.054 OPS. What? He's under contract. That's what I love. He's under contract till 2025. So we get this guy for 2 years before we even got to give him a contract. 286, 16 home runs. 16 home runs. 16 have come, I think, since June. Most of them have come since June. So this guy, he's lighting up. He's getting red hot just as we get ready to go into October, which is what I need. I need a red hot left fielder who can get on base, can make contact, can play all 3 positions as we get ready for October, because that's really only the whole Astros got left. Really, truthfully, is left field. But if you are looking at a pitcher, then the name and he's out there, Aaron Savali. Why are we not talking about Aaron Savali? I mean, this dude's got a 2.54 ERA. Yeah, Cleveland. He's 28. He's under contract till 2025. Quality mid-rotation guy. I could slot him right behind. Well, actually, I could probably take Hunter Brown now because we're getting our Quiddy back. I mean, I could slide him right there at the number 3 spot, right before JP France, because JP France got that 2.38 ERA.
Aaron Savali's gone
last night. So I really think that we could put him into our rotation real nice. But
no, you can't. Aaron Savali's gone.
Who did he go to? Did I miss that?
Aaron Savali got traded to Tampa Bay on Saturday.
Son of a bitch. Well, there you go. There you have it, folks. So now I'm left with a left fielder. Damn it. Lane Thomas. Dana Brown. If you're listening to me, Dana, I don't know if we can pull it off. I don't know if maybe we put a Jake Myers, if we put a Gilbert, put a guy who's good in the outfield, halfway decent bat, pair him up with Gilbert, that prospect we got out of Tennessee. And maybe we can get those two guys and put those two guys for Lane Thomas. I don't know if he can make it work or if Cleveland's going to allow you to make it work. But Cleveland Guardians are trash right now. I'm sorry. I watched them last night. Not impressed at all. And they're in a mediocre division behind the Twins, barely at 500, sitting in second place. Yeah, Guardians, sell this guy. Get a prospect, get another proven guy, and give us Lane Thomas. That's all I'm
saying. Oh, man. I'm really upset that Dustin just said Savali went over to Tampa. We're actually playing Tampa right now, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see him tonight or tomorrow. And I'll be really upset.
You're not going to see. It's a 3-game set with Tampa.
Yes.
Oh, by the way, Verlander now. I don't know if y'all been checking, but now Verlander has now been linked with the Padres. Have y'all seen that?
Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah, I don't know if I talked about that. So, and I think LA is now linking themselves to Rodriguez, if I'm not mistaken.
LA's linking themselves to Rodriguez, but they're also still linked to Verlander as well. So that's something. There's a lot of teams that are looking at Justin Verlander. Another news just came in. The Braves right now are checking on Justin Verlander as well. So now the Braves have entered the mix of potentially getting Justin Verlander. And how funny would that be if Justin Verlander ends up going to the Atlanta Braves? Logan will never hear the end of it because he talks a lot of trash about Justin Verlander. It's good, positive trash, but if you know Logan like Jay and myself, Logan likes to talk trash in a positive way. He does it in a positive manner. So you gotta try and understand Logan just a little bit. But,
and here's the deal, and Frankie, you saw that with Verlander. I think he's got to make so many starts or so many innings, and I think he's closing in on the innings that he has to eclipse. And once he eclipses those innings, then the next team is on the hook for his whole salary for 2 years. But I think if they can convince the Mets, and I think the Mets are going to have to do it if they want to move on from Verlander, the Mets, if they can get the Mets to eat the majority of that contract, and then maybe San Diego picks up 22, 23 million of Verlander, and then the Mets eat the rest, then I think that's a worthwhile trade to make. But if San Diego is stupid enough to take on Verlander and all of that money, okay. Go ahead and do that for a 41. Oh, it's going to be 41 in February. And you really want to ride $90 million out on a guy that's going to turn 43 at the end of the contract?
Yeah, and that's what Dustin and myself said earlier on the show when we were talking about Justin Verlander, because I threw out that San Diego came out as a secret team that's been revealed to be in the market for Justin Verlander. And then, that's where Dustin went out and said they also have Blake Snell, who they've been put on the market for a month now. So if the Padres can somehow, some way get Justin Verlander to come to the Padres before somebody tries to make a good move to try and get Blake Snell, that would be a perfect 1-2 punch for the Padres right there. To take Blake Snell off the trade market and then have Blake Snell as your ace, have Justin Verlander as his backup as a number 2, and that would be a good 1-2 punch there.
Right, because what is getting rid of your number 1 pitcher? What does that do for your playoff chance? That makes no sense to me.
Exactly. Especially when you're
no sense that you're going to get rid of Snell and bring in Verlander. That makes no sense at all.
Right, and I believe they're only 5 games back from being in the wild card. Or maybe 4. They've been lowering that number down, and when you're right there, you literally the door's like you're an eyesight of the door of the wild card. You just need to go ahead and punch your way through a bunch of these other people that are trying to get to that door, and once you get to that door, you open it up and you're there. They're there. They're almost there.
But so Frankie, let me tell you what I hate.
Trade your ace away.
Let me tell you what I hate about Scherzer. And what I hate about Verlander deals. What I hate about these deals is they're old. They're maybe a year or 2 left on them. And I see these guys giving away all of their prime young prospects on a possibility. On a possibility. Do you really want to give up your future on a possibility? Because there's no guarantee. There's no guarantee that these guys are going to get you a World Series, but yet you're going to mortgage your potential future on some possibilities.
Well, let me tell you this, Jay. Let me tell you this. The Max Scherzer deal, Texas got him for basically nothing.
No, they had to give up some prospects. Did they? Gave up two pitchers and an infielder.
They gave up one player, Jay. Just one player. They gave up one player, prospect, just one prospect to the Mets. Right? It's what's his name? It's a brother, Cunha Jr. or something. Yeah, Cunha, brother of the brother.
Yeah, it's Acuna's brother out from the Braves. I can't say that name either.
Yeah, so they got him, just one player, and the Mets still had to pay majority of his freaking contract. So other teams right now are looking at that. They seen that with Max Scherzer, and now they're looking at Justin Verlander, a guy who's 2 years older than him, and they're going to try and get something, that same kind of deal for Justin Verlander from the Mets. And I tell you right now, if the Mets do that and pay off, and I wouldn't be surprised if they pay off the rest of their contract, because that's what the Mets do. They're still paying Robinson Cano. They're still paying Belina. Exactly. Like they're paying all these players from back in the day. Like they don't even care. They don't mind paying contracts. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Mets go ahead and do that. But because of the fact that the Mets got only one prospect from the Rangers for Max Scherzer, just goes to thought that other teams are going to try and go that route.
I just look at, teams like the Rangers, who I call them a team full of rentals. DeGrom's a rental, Scherzer's a rental, so forth. Stratton sucks ass. Who's the other one they got? Lynn sucks ass.
They didn't get Lance Lynn.
But they got another dude. No, it was Stratton and Scherzer they got. Lynn went to the Dodgers.
Jay, you're right now taking a shot at Oz. All right, and I understand.
No, I know. He went to the Dodgers. It was Stratton and Lance, it was Lance Lynn and then Joe Kelly that went to the Dodgers, which are another trash ass players. I mean, honestly, look, here's the deal. Nobody I've seen in free agency, and Dustin may disagree with me on this, but nobody I've seen in free agency has really done anything that moves the needle anywhere than what it already currently is. Tampa's a good team. Astros are a good team. Baltimore's a good team. But outside of those three, I don't see anybody in the American League that's going to do any better than those three. You look at the same side, over in the National League side, you got the Braves. The Dodgers are a semi, but the Dodgers ain't doing shit. It's going to be I guarantee you, and Justin may disagree with me, it's going to be the Braves in the World Series. And then maybe the Phillies can sneak in like they did last year. But I still think this is the Braves' chance at a World Series. And I damn sure think it's going to be between Baltimore and Houston. I think Tampa fades down. I think between Baltimore and Houston that goes to the World Series. I don't think anybody has done anything. I know Dustin's going to say the Rangers all damn day, and I'm going to poke holes in the Rangers bullpen all day long because their bullpen is no better than ours. Their starting pitching actually is a little worse than ours. You can say that they're the best offensive team, but we got Alvarez back, we got Altuve back. We're probably bringing Brantley back at some point in August, maybe early September. I don't think Texas – we just beat Texas. We go 2 out of 3 with Texas. Texas wasn't shit. And what's Scherzer really going to do for them? J.P. France has a better ERA, and he's a damn rookie. Shut the fuck up, Texas. No offense, I love Texas.
I just want to, before I let Dustin go ahead and retaliate and defend the Rangers, because he's been defending the Rangers since winter break, possibly even last season. I'm not 100% sure. I know he's been defending them since winter break. But I just want to go out and say that my secret team for the NL, yes, the Braves, best team in the NL right now. They are right now, obviously, on paper, projected to go to the World Series for the National League. I do like the Phillies being a secret team as well.
Yeah,
they are absolutely a secret team. They're winning right now. They're really winning, and nobody's even talking about it. Nobody's even mentioning it, but they're winning. Our guy, Philly sports guy, biggest Philly fan of all time that we know, and I know Jay does the same as I do. We watch this guy's TikTok, and we see him at all the games. They're winning. They're winning. So keep an eye on Philly. But
exactly. Totally agree with that.
The one team that I think, and I'm going to say this because I feel like once they get in, they're going to have so much momentum on their back.
Are you going to say Cincinnati Reds?
Yes, I am.
I thought you were going to say Cincinnati.
Yes, I am. Because I feel like once they get in, Jay.
Hey, and you're not wrong. You're not wrong on that, by the way. You're not wrong.
They're winning against teams right now that absolutely they should be losing to. They just beat the Dodgers. They just beat up on the Dodgers. So I mean, like,
Frankie, I look at Cincinnati as an up and down team. When that team gets hot, that team gets red hot, and when they get cold, they get cold. So the only thing I got to say about Cincy is I think they can do great things, but they have to stay consistent. I don't know if they can consistently ride that momentum. That's the only, and I think that's just because they're young. They're a young, super young team. But I can only imagine where Cincinnati is going to go in the next year or two if they keep that core together. Lord have mercy.
I'm just saying, I feel like because right now they're having a battle with the Milwaukee Brewers. This is the division that everybody projected the Milwaukee Brewers to win because of what they did last year.
Right.
I mean, literally, and Milwaukee had the lead for a while, and the Reds somehow, some way, they went from the bottom to being a competitive team for that division against the Brewers. And like I said, if they can somehow, some way get in there, I know they're going to get in there by a wild card, or they can even get in there by division. If they get in there, I feel like they're going to have so much to ride on that these guys are just, like you said, I feel like they're going to get red hot. I understand that they go up and down, but let's be real. I feel like when they lose about, one or two games before they go back on that winning streak and being red hot again. This team is literally a surprise team this year that I think will be great in the playoffs if they can get in. It's going to be really surprising to see. But Stat Guy, go ahead, defend the Rangers. Let Jay know why the Rangers are going to win that division and go to the World Series. Let him know. Clear his head about being an Astros guy.
I mean, I've been on the Rangers since winter. I've been on the Rangers since they hired Bruce Bochy. I've been on the Rangers since they brought in Jacob deGrom and some of the moves they made, because that was the one thing they were always lacking on that team was reliable starting pitching. You saw the success they've had once they've gotten reliable starting pitching, and even when deGrom first went down, they were still finding ways to win without that ace at the top of the staff. Now I think not having that ace has kind of caught up to them a little bit, because now they are kind of struggling a little bit more in the pitching, and Houston has gained a lot of ground on them. But that is what Max Scherzer is being brought in for, at least for the rest of this year. He is being brought in to be their ace, and I know he's not having a typical Max Scherzer year, but it's still Max Scherzer, and you know what you're going to get out of him. You know what you're going to get out of him, especially in
that's a sticky substance that got him banned. Is that what we're getting? I'm just asking because it did happen. So
you know the type of pitcher you're getting in a playoff race. You know the type of bulldog mentality he has when he's in the middle of a playoff race, and I think that is why Texas went after him, because they needed a pitcher that has that playoff experience. Because if you look at the rest of the Rangers rotation, outside of Jacob deGrom, that rotation has little to no playoff success. Now you bring in a guy like Scherzer, who he doesn't have a great playoff resume, but at least he still has some playoff success. He has pitched in the World Series before. He has had several big moments in the playoffs. You have him. And even with Jordan Montgomery, I know Frankie's very familiar with Jordan Montgomery and the struggles that Jordan Montgomery has had in the past. But you look at Jordan Montgomery this season and the 6-9 record that he has, his ERA is still only a 3.37. So it's not like he was pitching terrible with the Cardinals. He was just one of those pitchers that did not get the run support that he would typically get to have a better record.
No, I'm not gonna sit here and deal with that. I'm not gonna sit here and let you talk good on Jordan.
I don't like Jordan Montgomery at all. I'm just saying.
But hold on. What I want Stat Guy to defend. Now, Stat Guy, your batting average for the Rangers as a collective group is 287, which is really freaking good. I mean, you're not too far off of 300. So I understand your point about the offense, no doubt. But I want you to explain to me, number one, your best pitcher, Evaldi, is on the 15-day IL with forearm stiffness. And then your collective team ERA is at 4.23. And the Astros collective ERA is right at about 3.6, 3.7. Can you explain to me how you think Scherzer's going to be better for a 4.23 ERA? I don't quite add those numbers up.
Because if Scherzer pitches to his typical 3.5,
I'm sorry, was that an if in there? Is that so? If an if says maybe, and a maybe gives me doubt.
No, because it's an if. Because
so what I need is stats. I need you're stat guy for a reason.
He's getting into it.
I'm giving you stats. It's an if because he's never pitched in Texas's new ballpark.
That's true.
Texas's new ballpark is a home run hitter's park and a hitter's ballpark. So you don't know what you're going to get from Max Scherzer in that ballpark yet because he's never pitched there yet.
Hold on, that's a big ass ballpark. Don't say it's a home run frenzy type. Don't say.
Well, it does. I think what he's getting at is the left and right lines.
Yeah, you don't know what you're going to get.
If he goes center, it is a big park. Yeah. But I think if you go left or right,
yeah, you don't know what you're getting out. You don't know what you're going to get out of him in that park until he actually steps foot on that mound and can kind of show you. But you do know what you're going to get out of him in other parks that he's had a ton of success with. And you do know what you're going to get out of him if he does typical Max Scherzer outings, which are typically 6-7 innings, 2 to 3 runs allowed, 8+ strikeouts. His 3.7 ERA is still lower than what Texas's team ERA is by a half a run. 3.7 is not considered an ace type of pitcher, but it's still a better ERA than what the Texas staff has right now. And even at that, that makes that staff better. Same with Jordan Montgomery. His 3.3 ERA is better than anybody else on that Texas staff right now. So if you go based off of the numbers they put up this year, they make that staff better. It's just a matter of can Texas overcome some of the pitching depth issues that they have as opposed to Houston not having those same pitching depth issues.
Yeah, because, Houston, our pitching depth goes for days.
Yep.
I mean, it literally goes for days. I mean, you can look. I fully expect Framber Valdez and Javier. We still have not seen Javier from last year, but I fully expect. I was listening to a couple of guys, some of the trainers that were speaking on Javier and Valdez specifically on Fox Sports when they were doing the after the post game show. And they were talking about how they have not even gotten their legs under them. I fully expect Javier and Valdez, as we get closer to October, you're going to see them start to heat up and get into playoff baseball. And we haven't even gotten Urquidy back yet. And I think when you put a guy like J.P. France, who quite honestly, Jared, and Frankie, I told you about this, Garrett Cole's got a 2.38 since June 1, 2.30 since June 1, and JP's right behind him at 2.38. And this is our rookie. This is our back end of the rotation at 2.38. So, and again, Brandon Beelock, I think we're going to wind up putting him either in the bullpen or I think he goes back down to the minus. I just think we got too many pitchers, and I think he's going to be the odd guy out. But we have pitching for days, man, for days. And I think as we get closer to October, our ERA is going to heat up. I think our bats are going to continue to heat up. And I think Texas is going to have – look, we're only half a game behind you guys. We're like literally on your a-hole right now. And Texas is getting that division back. I promise you. I'm going to say it right here on Frankie's show that I think Houston gets to 70 before you guys do. I said it right here.
Well, I just wanna go out and get my thought real quick. I don't give excuses. I really don't. And I feel like the one reason why your rookie has the ERA that he has is because nobody has seen video coverage of him. Nobody's seen his, like when I'm talking about MLB level. Like I understand you see him on the Houston Astros lineup in the beginning of the year, and you go and you see his college stuff like that. But you never seen what he can do in the MLB, in the big leagues. You don't know what he can do. And I feel like that's a one good advantage on your guys' part. Not no excuse. That's a one good advantage on
I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying.
Because nobody's pitched against him. Nobody has, videos of what they did wrong against this guy, what they can do better against this guy. So nobody's seen that on tape to, try and change it up. And I feel like that's the one good thing that you guys got, the good leverage on JP France. And I actually do like the guy. The guy's he's pitching absolutely phenomenal. But let's see what he can do next year. We do got a trade that happened 3 minutes ago. I didn't want to interrupt nobody. But the Atlanta Braves made a trade to get Brad Hand. I don't know who the hell that is.
Oh, wow. They got Brad Hand?
Damn.
Yes, Brad Hand just got
I like that.
First trade of today's trade deadline goes to Atlanta.
It's the second trade of the day. The Cubs made the first trade, but that was just a minor league trade, so that one kind of went under the radar a little bit.
Care about no minor league. We care about MLB Major League.
Exactly.
Oh
But
shit!
before I end the show, I want to give the fans a little thought or a little knowledge on Brad Hand because realistically, I'm gonna be real with you guys. I don't even know who the hell Brad Hand is. I've been so focused on being a sore loser this year, watching my boys. Literally, like I said at the beginning of the show, I'm watching my guys because I'm a fan. If they're going through the struggles, I'm gonna go through the struggles with them. If we go to the high
Absolutely.
peaks, if they go to the high peaks, I'm gonna be in the high peaks with them. So I'm behind my boys. But stat guy Jay, you guys thought this is an amazing trade. Let the fans know a little bit about Brad Hand.
I'm
Brad
gonna I gotta go first.
Brad Hand was one of the most coveted relievers all off season long, and it became a mystery as to why he went unsigned as long as he did. And I think a lot of it had to do with what happened in Colorado the second half of his tenure there, where pitching in Colorado affects everybody. The numbers are terrible because of the park you pitch at, but he is one of the more consistent and one of the better relievers that we've seen since about 2014, 2015, when he kind of first started getting that regular role. He's got a 3.66 career ERA. He was a starter when he first came into the league, but he only made 43 career starts. He's pitched in nearly 600 games since he's been a major league pitcher. He's logged 131 career saves, including several years of over 30 saves and even a 40 save season. He also is a guy that has over 85 holds, which means he pitches in the 7th and the 8th inning too. And he's one of those matchup lefties that can get left-handers out, he can get right-handers out, and he's a guy that can give you one inning or multiple innings. He's one of those versatile relievers that every team loves to have. And when it comes to the Atlanta Braves, the one area they really have not had as much success as they would like is the back end of that bullpen. And now you have a bad hand where you can put him in the 8th inning, or if your closer is struggling, you move Brad Hand to the 9th inning, and there's your closer for not only the rest of this year, but next year, because he signed a 2-year, $16 million contract with Philadelphia this offseason.
Yeah, that's most of where I have experience with Brad Hand is when he played with the Indians and the Phillies. That's kind of where I watched most of them. But like Justin said, the Braves are at about a 3.87 as a club ERA, about the same as the Astros, to be honest with you. And just like the Astros, they, like Justin just said a minute ago, we needed help at the back end of our bullpen, and they needed help at the back end of the Atlanta bullpen because they have all the other pitching in terms of starters and early to mid relievers, but that back end needed a little bit of help. And I think that's where Brad Hand is going to be specialized for Atlanta is the back end. Now, Atlanta has the best team in the league right now when you look at their record and we look at what they're doing. And I think that Brad Hand is just going to help solidify those close games when they need him to come in and keep the game, under wraps for them. I think that's what Brad Hand is meant for, and that's what I think he's going to do for them. Which is kind of the same thing with what I think Graveman is going to do for the Astros, honestly.
All right, folks. Well, you heard it from Jay and Stat Guy. Brad Hand, relieving pitcher, getting traded to the Braves actually helps out the Braves. And for those of you who don't know, the Braves have the second best bullpen ERA behind the Yankees. For some reason, somehow, I don't know why our ERA is good in the bullpen, but our hitting is terrible. What a year to be a Yankee fan. This is just so terrible. Normally, it's the other way around. We have a good hitting and a bad ERA on bullpens, but god damn, it's tough this year. Whatever. I'm standing behind my boys. First MLB trade. Let me be specific. First MLB trade, not minor league trade. First MLB trade of the day goes to the Atlanta Braves, getting Brad Hand. Keep you guys tune in to ESPN, tune in to MLB Network. Keep your eyes open. Keep your ears out. Trades are going to be happening today. Justin Verlander on the market. Blake Snell on the market. Other people on the market. So we'll figure out who goes where. We're going to figure out who needs who. We're going to figure out if that team won, who lost. Find out more tonight on Unscripted at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, where you get updated.
One more.
Go ahead.
I just want to put it out. Me and you, baby. In a couple of days, maybe 3 or 4 days, Houston and the Yankees will be doing business.
I'm gonna be on vacation. I already know what's happening. I already know what's gonna happen. I'm going on vacation, Jay. I'm already on the next year season opener against you guys. That's where my focus is more on. I'm already done. I'm done. I got no more left in the tank to deal with your ass this year. 7 p.m. Eastern Time, unscripted, an hour after the MLB trade deadline. So we'll have all the breaking news for you on all the trades. Starting obviously with Brad Hand going to the Braves, and I'm sure Logan, our boy Logan Lander, the Atlanta Braves fan, is gonna love that. I can't wait to hear his thoughts on it. So tune in tonight on Unscripted, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, at Unscripted, and also the ASAP Sports Network. I'm your boy Frankie the Yankee. During the struggles, but still happy. Teaming with my boy Jay McLovin, Houston Astros, looking to regain their composure and trying to get back to what is it called, defending their championship. And with Stat Guy, Chicago Cubs native guy over there that is just on the outside looking in, but slowly looking to get better. I'm your boy saying thank you guys for tuning in and watching us. I'll come back tomorrow with the breaking news of the upset loss the Yankees might get tonight and the upset news of Yankees not making trades today. Yeah, catch you guys tomorrow.